This is a post intro, or we recorded the intro at the start, but now we're doing one at the end because this video got very political. So if you're not interested in political videos,
well, it wasn't that.
Give this one a skip. Don't bother with it. We're talking about real world events from in 90s, early 2000s, and if that stuff's not for you, just give this one a miss.
It's another schizo rambling video, guys. So, Ozzy's here eating his breakfast. So if you hear munching and slurping in the background, it's him.
Yeah, but he's pretty happy, so he is. But anyway, let's jump into today's thread, won't we?
Will World or Chronicles of Darkness ever gain popularity again, or is the cultural zeitgeist too far gone?
Will we ever see songs like Papa Roach,
Evanescence?
Will we ever see bands like that?
I hope.
Well, Ozzy thinks so.
But will we?
Will we ever see them again?
I hope so.
And I think that's the only way to answer this question. Sorry, guys, this video is going to be a bit weird, alright? I don't know. Okay, anyway,
yes, look. Cut my life into... Repeat after Mummy. Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort. He's headbanging.
Well, anyway, I think that's really the defining trait
of this.
Will
that edginess ever come back? I think within the Zoomer culture, there is that type of edginess back.
They do have a degree of edgy, but it's so different from that 90s, early 2000s edge
that we had to endure.
Yeah, that and also the other big problem with vampire and werewolf and all that type of shit. It doesn't work once mobile phones exist.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Once you've got video cameras of all these things that could possibly happen.
Yeah.
If it's set in the real world, the whole setting just how can this be real? How can this work? It feels very you could work in the angle of fake news. But I suppose that's more of a setting issue than anything. I suppose that's more about can it be popular again? I think it has a potential, but I think it'll always have a cult following within reason. Or as long as Gen Xers and older millennials exist.
Yeah. I'm old, dude, and I played World of Darkness as a teen, but it's just not trendy to be angry and anti-authority like it used to be. Every original World of Darkness game was about being a young nobody in a centuries-old, repressive and rigid social structure, and getting mad about it. As a metaphor for the general fuck the man attitude of the era. But
how do we do this? Are we going to swear? He's too young to...
he's fine.
Yeah.
For the general fuck the man attitude of the era, but fuck the man is out, and now it's about picking your preferred flavour of man and screeching at the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the generalised angst of the 90s was even more outdated than the storyteller system. Yeah.
It does bring up a very valid point,
yeah.
I think.
I still do think there is a big... recently there's a big surge of the anti-authority type, but it's nothing to what we were growing up in.
Yeah, the idea
just look at the pop culture back in late 90s. Limp Bizkit was one of the biggest bands. The biggest band.
I wouldn't say they're anti-authoritarian. I would say they're more about being a grumpy teenager.
Yeah, but they were fuck everybody, fuck everything around me.
Yeah, I'm so sick of this.
I'm so but that was I
don't want to go to school.
Yeah, that encapsulated an era.
Yeah,
of
it really
those
did.
type of people. And it was massive. It was huge being angsty. And it wasn't that it was trendy. It's just that was the norm for people to do.
I think, yeah, it was. It was. What do you think killed it? What do you think made people move on? I believe to a certain extent it was cringe culture. To a certain extent, I think
I don't know.
The whole idea of everything can be recorded now, even if you're a nobody. Even if could you imagine how bad it would be going to school with smartphones and someone recording you doing something? Oh my god!
I know.
Oh my god! I couldn't imagine anything worse. When did we?
I got my first phone. It was a Nokia.
Yeah.
And whenever I was 11.
Yeah,
maybe?
I think I bought the same.
But I didn't get my first smart. I had an HTC Desire, was it?
I couldn't tell you.
That was my first smartphone, and I didn't get that until I was 15.
I would have been older. I think
16.
I would have been about 17 before I got my first smartphone. I think. But then again, you don't need a smartphone to record stuff.
Well,
but I suppose it is different because if you can record stuff, and then the other thing is sharing it.
And also, I think the way social media was set up back then, it was Like, look at MySpace. I was a big MySpace hound.
Yeah.
And, like, MySpace was the epitome of edge.
Yeah, it was.
And it was an era within itself.
Do you think MySpace was the last dying breath?
Yeah, and then whenever everybody transitioned over to, like, Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook was, like, the more...
Sanitary,
like, adult platform. Not, like, adult as in nudity. I mean, like, adult as in... It's just the way it was set up.
The way you tweeted the site.
Yeah.
Was a lot more adult than you would MySpace.
Yeah.
MySpace.
That's why so many boomers, like, hold on to Facebook and, like, clutch it. Yeah. I think it's probably the case that we were the weird one. There was a time when some people pretty much thought that the world had taken its final shape in the 90s.
I mean, that is true. Like, even
I think
today,
that's why the 90s are coming back.
I do think there's a lot of people that like to believe we live in a post-history and we're almost at the end of times and the world is... Well,
everything before the millennium was great.
Yeah, or maybe it was just because we were kids.
Oh, yeah.
Was it just because we were kids?
Could have been.
Everything was better when I was a child. Is that what boomers like, the 50s, you know?
American-led, free-market capitalist, hamburger-munching homogeny, forever and ever. World of Darkness grew out of a time when it really seemed like the man was kind of singular in a way, and I'm actually not sure is normal.
So this is a time before YouTube Illuminati confirmed videos existed?
Sure, it wasn't really true. Bullshit like everything else, but that was kind of the vibe. Remember when being anti-globalist was left-wing?
Yeah, that was that's an interesting way the world's turned. See, this is the thing.
How much the goalposts swing?
See, this is the thing. I suppose... Okay, is this going to have to get political because we're talking about real-world events?
Let's read this.
Okay, let's keep going. Alright.
Shit has somehow been declared that it's officially on the other end of the political spectrum, and no one bags an eyelid. Yeah, I think people want to belong, and the marketing machine of politics has just been perfected. Kids get sold the idea that history has teams, and you just need to be on the right one. And all your stupid ideas are justified. It's true.
Yeah.
I've met middle-class white Maoists at university back when. Imagine being so desperate to belong to a clique that you align yourself with Mao while living in a first world country. Like...
It's funny how that's turned out, isn't it?
Shit gets invented to control the public discourse and increase government control over people's lives every decade. The Cold War was really happening, but it was used to justify American imperialism abroad and meddling in the lives of the citizens at home. The war on terror really happened, but it was used to increase the power of the surveillance state. COVID is a real disease, but it kind of feels like it's just a vibe for the next decade. Medical intervention instead of reading letters of known socialist SSDD. Yeah.
Yeah. See, okay, so this is what I've been struggling with recently, and I've been really thinking about, and it kind of changed a lot of my worldview. So one thing that I've always had a big problem with was, should America be the world police? Should they be going, like, look at South America, should they be going in, should they be destabilising, should they be putting
They automatically take over that role.
Yeah, should they be putting in, well, and again, like, like, they tried, like, they're not very good at world building in the Middle East. Are they, to be fair, America's not very good at world building in general when it comes to, like, imposing democracy. This is something I find interesting, though. The pullout with Afghanistan and what have you was that needed? Do we not have the stomach for what is required to keep, because you need an active world police to a certain extent, whether you like it or hate it. Would we be having what's going on in Eastern Europe if the pullout of Afghanistan
happened, or what didn't happen so badly?
Didn't go so fucking poorly.
I know.
Were the neocons right? Is what I'm trying to say, and that is terrifying in my eyes. Were they right all along, and I was just a fool, and maybe I didn't have the stomach for the horrible things that have to be done to keep the world order ticking?
What was it we seen the other day? Like the whole thing about remember when anti-globalists were left wing?
Oh god.
What was it we seen the other day? Somebody was putting it was TikTok I seen. It was like, do you think these people would, what political spectrum do you think these Lord of the Rings characters were? Yeah. And it said Gimli. Yeah. Gimli is so far right that he's went full circle and he's turned left. Yeah. And, like, that's because I think.
Well, would you buy the horseshoe theory?
Whenever I was younger, I'm on about my edgy teen phase, like 13, 14.
Yeah.
I was extremely fucking liberal. Like, extremely liberal. Like, went out in protests, like, went to pride parades, everything. But my views haven't changed that much.
No, it's...
They really haven't. But my views back then, I would be extremely right-wing.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm still for a lot of things.
Yeah.
A lot of things. But it's the whole course of political spectrum has changed so much that's why I don't think this would survive.
What gets me the most when it comes to like this whole, a lot of the people, especially the age group, the people that were teenagers playing Vampire, they're all in their 40s now.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are older left-leaning types, right? The bit that really confuses me about these lot is they still view the world as if it's in the 90s or in the 80s, and they are very... I can't wrap my head around people who are very left-leaning that despise the government, and yeah, I despise the government, great, I agree with you.
I think anybody who doesn't...
anybody
who trusts the government...
Everyone should have a very healthy mistrust of the government, no matter
and keep
where...
them at arm's length.
No matter where you are in the political spectrum, I think you should be wary of them at the very least. Do they have your best interests at heart?
Absolutely not.
Probably not, let's be serious. So therefore, why are you demanding a government that will fix all of your problems? Do they really have your best interests at heart? Can you trust them? I want to remove all the power from the government, and then I want the government to have complete control over my life to then make their world a utopia. I'm sorry, I don't know. I don't get that. And I think that's what we're seeing a lot more and more. Sorry guys, this is getting really political, isn't it?
This is getting political.
Well,
but it's not in a bad sense political.
Yeah.
You know, cyberpunk has persisted where gothic punk died because goth died out when cyber did not. That's true.
Yeah, like, well, I suppose maybe it's because we're moving more and more into like a cyberpunk dystopia.
Oh, could be. The classic World of Darkness goth punk aesthetic is something that repels normies, probably at least partially because it is associated with real life subcultures that have a reputation for disliking posers. Where cyberpunk does not. While in 2022, loads of normies on Twitter are perfectly happy to get involved in the anti-corporatist and anti-capitalist elements that have always been part of cyberpunk as a genre by posting about how perhaps corporations are bad. It's just got more mass appeal both to kids and millennials, even though they share elements. I think that people have sort of latched on to some of the elements of cyberpunk and started to see it in a more aspirational light.
See, this is the thing that gets me as well. I believe with cyberpunk, the problem I have with cyberpunk is companies are better at marketing ever before. And what do they market? They market ideology these days. They market what corporation doesn't have a pride flag slapped on it?
Exactly. But that's even the ones in the LGBT community.
Yeah, it's very cynical.
The ones in the LGBT community, they're getting angry about it because they're gay pandering.
Yeah.
They try and get people into their shop, especially around Pride Month, like the June and July mark.
Do you want to make a...
Look at me, I support this, but everything has rainbow all over it. It's like, come on, calm down.
But they are trying to make that appeal, and even like at Wizards of the Coast, I suppose this is on topic, isn't it? And I don't really want to talk too much about the subject, but there was big backlash a few months back. I'm sure you guys remember that Wade v Load. I'm not going to talk about what that was about, but a lot of them demanded that Wizards of the Coast, because they didn't say anything, have to put out a statement. Why does this company? What has this company got to do with that at all? Is beyond me. Why are you demanding a statement from these people? And again, I think that's the new form of cyberpunk to a certain extent. I believe we're moving more and more in that direction. Not that corporations are going to bend over backwards, perhaps, but they're going to take that role of a spiritual, that we produce this product, you're going to be part of our community. It's almost like, do you think corporations could overtake religion by creating fandoms?
They have in some case of the word, like, not corporations, but you could say them as corporations.
Yeah, well,
like,
look, Hasbro...
Artists, music artists.
Well, let's put it in, like, okay, so Hasbro owns Wizards of the Coast, it's a toy company. Let's be serious, there is a lot of people that treat D&D as a lifestyle, and that's what they're trying to go for. They are trying to move more and more into a lifestyle brand rather than...
But, like, look at how many people, like, either worship, like, artists, you know, like music artists or TikTok stars and stuff like that. Like, people are taking that as the new religion.
Yeah, they really are. They most definitely are.
Like, what do you think normies today are going to be more into? Whoa, cool computers and cybernetics and capitalism is bad, or I'm literally about to murder a logging team with my bare claws to send a message to Amazon about using non-sustainable cardboard for their boxes. It won't make a difference, but it will make me feel better. Personally, I love the nihilism and misdirect anger in the old World of Darkness. But cyberpunk is more relatable to people living in the shitty cyberpunk dystopia that is here and now. Yeah.
Yeah. I do still think cyberpunk, and we talked about this in yesterday's video quite literally, it is kind of outdated, and I would love to see yeah, would you like to see a new updated version as well?
There's ducks on screen, you see the ducks.
Yeah.
But what I want to know is, like, this setting is, like, yes, it's that 90s edgy vampire, like, underworld type of business.
90s goth, bleed.
Bleed, you like Wesley Snipes? But why is it so, like, that's died out?
Yeah.
But why is Anime Edge stayed?
Oh, that's a good one, actually.
And Anime Edge hasn't changed. It's still just as edgy as, like, the 90s Edge.
I think it's went edgier, if I be honest with you. Now, to be fair, like, we're not anime connoisseurs, so I started watching that anime Cyberpunk last night, so I did. And it's actually, like, okay, maybe it's just because I really like Cyberpunk, and you never really get anything like this.
Yeah.
The first episode has the mum dies, there's a billion skill. It's like all the hallmarks of anime. I'm on episode 8 or so I'm going to finish it before I say anything about it. Overall, like...
But why is that stayed?
I think it's the people that it appeals to.
Or is that just the cult, that culture in general?
Well, again...
Because anime in general has only gotten stronger, I think.
It has.
Like, the fan base.
You could argue that anime at this point is turned into normie media. It's that big.
Yeah.
Whereas I remember, like, you know, in like 2005, 6, 7, no one, like, you had to be a fucking...
No one admitted
to ever watch. Okay, I'll tell you a really funny one. I've told this story before. One of my friends, he was really, really big into anime, so he was, where he was a teenager. I watched a good... This is kind of where I felt, not my hatred, but this is where I call anime cringe all the time, is because of him, okay? So, he was filling out a form to work in, like, a corner shop, and he had nothing to do. He had no idea what to fill out, so he got his sister to fill it out for him, and it was under...
And his sister was a massive weeb, too.
Yeah, she was. And it was under, like, you know, interests or whatever, and she put down, it's like, anime, Japanese animation, and I suppose back then that was kind of unusual to be like, oh, right, okay, this is something a bit different, like, you know, it's not something you would ever really hear about.
Yeah.
Anyway, he puts that down, and in the interview, now, they already decided we're not hiring this fella. But at the end of the interview...
They just wanted to fuck with
Yeah. At the end of the interview, they just turned around and go to him, like, anime, is that Chinese cartoon porn? Oh, I thought it was the funniest thing ever. But yeah, honestly, so as far as I'm aware, the cyberpunk anime, I mean, it's got a lot of hallmarks of anime, but I mean, it's kind of interesting, so I'm gonna wait till it's finished before.
But I still let us know why. Let us know down below, why do you think that, like, the 90s edge has ended, but the anime edge has stayed?
I think, you know what,
honestly, it's still the same class of edge.
Honestly, I think yeah, it is. It's very similar. Well, it's a bit different.
It's a bit different.
Yeah,
it's not so much like anti-authority punk than what it used to be.
But does punk even exist anymore? Though?
No, absolutely not.
Punk, I don't know. No. It can exist anymore at this point. Yes. Could you imagine somebody recording?
Could you imagine somebody recording Anarchy in the UK?
Oh no, yeah. That's no, it wouldn't happen.
Or God Save the Queen.
Yeah, you just couldn't. It doesn't exist anymore. It's long gone. I don't know, man. It's kind of sad if I be honest with you. Yes, fuck you. I won't do what you tell me. Now, fuck me. I will do what you tell me.
Yeah. Like Rage Against the Machine is not popular anymore.
No, it's really not. And maybe we're wrong. I really hope the punk isn't dead. I would love it.
Punk is dead.
It is
the
dead.
The only type of form of punk that's around now is American punk, and American punk is so fucking different.
Yeah.
UK punk.
I wouldn't.
The only punk that I found recently that I really enjoyed.
Oh, with Negative XP.
Negative XP. Negative XP kind of gives me vibes.
if you haven't listened to Negative XP, give them a go. You know that they're incredibly beast because I saw a lot of people on Twitter calling them Nazis. Yeah! So you know finally.
Yeah. But that's the thing.
So you know that they must actually be punks.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
If the Sex Pistols recorded songs now,
yeah,
they'd be called fascist.
Yeah, they would be. They probably would be.
Back then, they were extremely liberal. They were like liberal as liberal can get.
Yeah, they were. You couldn't get any more left-leaning.
Yeah, than Sex Pistols.
I don't know. It's kind of sad, if I'll be honest with you.
Right, you slimy, human maggots. We has been working hard at Neckbeardia to get the bestest little people that monies can buy. We got all the boys here. We got the boys, the lizard boys, vampire boys, all the boys over at Neckbeardia. Oh, we also got some pretty girls too. But I can't really make out which one's the boys and which one's the girls sometimes. But anyway, I need more monies to get more DACA, so get on over and order some now, you filthy pigs. Every video that we post, we're going to be giving away all of our homebrew content to one lucky winner. Every video. All you have to do to be in with a chance to win is to be subscribed, leave a comment, and like this video. And today's lucky winner is this guy. Well done! Well done! To claim your prize, just send an email to neckbeardiacontact@gmail.com. Now let's get back to the video. 40s here, played Vampire the Masquerade as a teen. A lot of the things touched on in the other posts are accurate, but I think people underestimate the nerd fact. In the 90s, you absolutely did not want to be known as a nerd. Yeah. Here comes Vampire the Masquerade, with sexy vampires and easy house rules, and rolling a d10 per dot, instead of having to use all the other polyhedrons. You could teach somebody to play the game in 10 minutes. Suddenly, the hobby has girls. None of them were 10 out of 10 high school cheerleaders. Well, we had one, but even she was more an 8 out of 10 theatre nerd than cheerleader by senior year.
Someone clearly never had a big titty goth girlfriend.
But still, they were not all social rejects of the blue-haired Hamlet MBs that still follow the game these days. Some of them mall goth cuties carrying green books with a rose on the cover were attractive. Anytime a nerdy guy could get laid and still be nerdy, the product sold. But now nobody cares if you're a nerd. Yeah? Yeah,
Ozzy. Yeah, see, people even want to. People stop using my culture as your aesthetic. Yeah. Okay?
And unless you totally lack hygiene and or have all the worst quirks of autism, you might even be a likeable nerd.
Yeah, I would agree with that, honestly.
I noticed the Vampire Chronicles got a facelift for the new generation. Maybe Powerwolf need to think about getting some kind of eye-catching Netflix anthology with 10 to 15 minute glimpses into the world of darkness to drum up his interest.
Honestly, yeah. I would argue, you know what really did World of Darkness the worst? Their video games are absolutely trash, and anyone that agrees. Now, don't get me wrong, I suppose we're stuck comparing Cyberpunk this entire game, but it's hard not to compare Cyberpunk to Vampire or World of Darkness in general. They're similar but different at the same time, but they have a lot of overlaps, and they're both kind of about the same age group.
Yeah.
And we are seeing, like, it used to be like in the 90s at least and early 2000s, Vampire was definitely, I would argue Vampire was bigger than D&D at one point. I would say it probably was. It had more cultural impact, would you say?
Probably, but around that time, what was that?
Yeah.
But around that time was also like the big influx of the vampire movies.
Oh, yeah,
as Underworld.
Evanescence.
Evanescence. I don't know if Twilight was. I don't know. I'd never watched Twilight.
No. I would say there would be the biggest screechers were the vampire fans screeching at Twilight.
Were they?
Yeah,
I don't know. I've never watched Twilight.
Just vampires are. They're all kind of. You know what it is? It's because your sister was really into the Underworld series.
No, I really liked the Underworld.
Did you? Then what was she? No, she was a Wiccan. That was what it was.
She watched Charmed.
She watched Charmed too much. Honestly, I think, like, it has potential, but I don't think it's going to go the whole way. Again, World of Darkness was attached to an actual, like, RLL goths, so goths are dead. It's a pure aesthetic, I would argue.
I was going to say there's nothing sadder than like a 40-year-old goth, but then we have one in the
comments. Per Tommy. But Honestly,
what I mean is like there's nothing sadder than a 4-year-old goth like working behind the cash register selling cigarettes to underage kids.
I don't know. I think they got charmed. There's something about that like middle-aged man. It's like yeah, fuck the system, man.
Yeah, but goths. I'm not all about metalheads. Metalheads are different.
I don't know. There's something. See an old metalhead. There's something very charming about them.
Very charming about an old metalhead. That's different.
Do you think
like they still wear the denim jacket with the patches and stuff? Like that's different.
Yeah.
But it's the goths. Like they've worn that much eyeliner over the year that their eyes are just permanent black.
So do you think there's been the real defining factor is who's more cool whenever they get older? Punks or goths? I wouldn't even call them punks. I would call them more metalheads.
They are metalheads. They're not punks.
You know,
punks get to a point where they just end up wearing a polo shirt and jeans.
Yeah.
And maybe the odd t-shirt with a Clash on it.
Yeah, that's exactly. I actually know a couple of middle-aged men that are exactly like that, wearing the polo shirts all the time with a shaven head. Yeah. Well, they almost look like skinheads, but they overlap.
They're a different type of skinhead.
They're very different, though. They're very different than what you would think of whenever American thinks skinhead.
Yeah.
I think our skinheads are...
Over here are punks.
Yeah, I would argue that's more what they are. So yeah, this video was a bit of a mess, safe to say, and we did go into a lot of politics. However, can Vampire... Can it get back? Is it ever going to be to make a comeback? Will it ever be half as popular? Maybe if they had a really good video game. Apparently, Cyberpunk's game is fixed at this point. I believe. I haven't played
77?
it. Yeah, apparently it's been fixed.
I haven't played it. I was really hyped for it.
I was really hyped for it.
But then I was pregnant.
Oh yeah, and you can sit
literally couldn't sit at the computer to do anything.
Yeah, well maybe I might, you know, maybe we'll try it again, so we'll and see if it's any good or not.
Maybe.
Like, you know, apparently a lot of the bugs have been fixed. Maybe if World of Darkness got itself a decent video game that wasn't absolute dog shit. They've all been dog shit. I don't care what anyone has to say, and they've always been a fucking disaster. Remember when they were trying to make an MMO in like 2010 or whatever? Yeah, they tried to make an MMO and it just didn't work. And
well, that's why I haven't heard of the MMO.
Yeah, that's why you never heard of it. I think an anime actually would work very well for Vampire.
Yeah.
I honestly think
anime, I think, is probably the best route they can go down to try and get a resurgence.
Yeah, and also, like, you know, let's be serious. As much as I like to laugh at anime, the amount of people that are into role-playing games that would watch anime is like 80%. It's probably like 90%.
The thing is, there's absolutely nothing wrong with anime.
No.
If you like it, like that's fine. But it's people who like adapt anime into their lifestyle.
It's people who go around talking like they're in an anime. People that are. Oh god, please! That actually makes me want to fucking die.
Do you know what I mean? It's those types of people who are like it mixes with their lifestyle personality, and that's all that they are.
Yeah, that's actually like genuine gigaweebs.
It's like people who smoked weed once, like girls. You know the girl. You know the girls.
Yeah, girls that smoke weed once starts wearing bleeds and shit like
marijuana that. Leaves all over them.
Oh,
it's like,
please, it makes me want to die. Honestly, I do think
is marijuana and cannabis the same thing?
Yes, of course, Megan.
But why is there two different words for it?
There's different words for different...
Oh, right, okay.
Normie, get out! Fuck me. Anyway, can World of Darkness come back into vogue? Probably, maybe not. It would need a really big face uplift. I think the only way you could do it, it would need to completely turn its head on the whole... it would need to be self-aware, and it would need to... I think for it to work, it wouldn't work for the audience that it had before.
Yeah.
It would need to completely reinvent itself into a new entity.
New eyes as they can.
I think it would still need to be very anti-corporation, but it needs to also... A lot of people wouldn't understand that, say you're playing a vampire, they're gay or whatever, you know.
They're gay or whatever. Let's say you're playing a vampire, they're gay or whatever.
But like, I know vampires are gay or whatever, but like, you know, let's say they're actually like, you know, let's say they're homosexual. How does that sound? You're literally playing a homosexual, right? And you're a vampire, and the corporation has been using your pride flag or whatever. Like, you know, say there was a thing about that. Think of the uproar that would cause.
Yeah.
Think of the backlash. In this game, you have to destroy pride flags or whatever, and the corporate, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think people wouldn't understand that what you're actually trying to get at.
Achieve, yeah.
Trying to get at that. What was the Kanye West one? George Bush doesn't care about black people. Give me a corporation name. Hasbro doesn't care about trans matters.
Oh, maybe we'll cut that bit.
Well, you know, but
I don't want Hasbro coming after.
No, but you know what I mean. It's you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I get it.
Too many people. There's too many brainlets on Twitter that would automatically be like, oh, they said something bad about that people. Oh, because they stand for this, that means it's automatically good, no matter what they do. Bleh. You know, it's the level of nuance is.
It's out of the window.
They don't have it.
They don't have nuance.
They can't. They
can't see past the immediate.
No, they can't. Or maybe they just want to be angry because they've got nothing else going on with their sad, pathetic fucking lives. Honestly.
Neckbeardia is saying the real things.
Well, they fucking are.
Yeah,
like, honestly, see the Twitter crowd. Is there anything more pathetic than them?
I know.
They honestly play like.
Mine's sitting all day waiting to shout at someone.
I know. Like, seriously, sort your fucking life out. You know, it's loser mentality.
They call other people Karens. It's like, calm down.
Yeah, I know. Look, I think we've rambled enough.
Yeah.
I think this video has gone really off topic. I mean, yeah, Vampire could get more popular again. There you go. What else is there to it?
Yeah.
The zeitgeist is gone, and the only way to bring it back would be completely revamping it. But I think that people don't have the brain power to comprehend that in this day and age.
Yeah.
Or sadly,
the thing is, there's not an awful lot of brain power this day and age anyway, because everybody's glued to their fucking phone. Like, their whole power goes into their phones, that they don't have to logically think about things.
No.
Because
hold on,
the first news article I see, it's like, that's the truth. It's like,
I've been watching this person on YouTube, and they told me exactly how to think and feel about everything, so I don't need to worry about that anymore.
Person? Philip DeFranco.
I don't think he's that bad, but he's very normie, so he's not what he used to be.
Mm-hmm.
He's okay for normie news, but like,
Yeah, well, we're going to ramble.
Yeah, let's go.
But let us know your thoughts down below. And
did you ever play Vampire? Were you an edgy boy, or you were more?
I think most of us have to admit that we were edgy. Everybody was edgy, and if you said that you weren't, then you were probably into hip hop or something.
Yeah, you play like a normie or something, and therefore,
wearing,
if you're
chains and stuff, and calling yourself like J-Dog or something.
Yeah, if you're a normie, then I'm sorry, this channel is not for you.
You walked
Get
out.
out.
You walked away.